this, not anymore.
Before I give Colonel High the floor, are there any other presentations for Colonel High? Colonel High, would you please say a few words?
I would please. Although it gets difficult. I have to use cards, sorry for that. I have to use cards because there's no words that I can thank all you basically right enough for what you showed me basically, right? Us showed us. Okay. So it
Hi. Sorry, we can't hear you.
Huh?
Mike, we can't hear you.
I can't hear you. I don't want to use the microphone. Okay, so I'll use the microphone then. Sharon, you good? Okay. You good, Sharon? Okay. And that is exactly what happens to me day in, day out. And it's there, that table there, back in the, I am truly a Cowboys fan, okay? And I actually, and my roots go back to when I started pilot training here, right? So I came from Germany, just barely 21 years old, and we didn't know shit about American football, right? So we, back then it was soccer, and we didn't know, well, why aren't you using your feet? Right? So, and I had an American IP back then, right, in Ented, and Major Bob Adams, and he, and Rob Dooley, Rob Dooley ran to me. He didn't smoke in the airplane, but everywhere else. So, and so we go to this football game, right? And he invites us, actually, all students over to his house to one of those Sunday night football games. And it's, he has this first time ever, I've never ever seen this before, right? This huge screen TV, we're talking 1986, okay? No internet, and no nothing, and TVs were about this size usually, right? And he had this huge TV, and we saw the Dallas Cowboys play, and it was Tom Landry still coaching them. And back then their defensive line, before they would go and hit the enemy,
hit the
opponent, sorry. And they would come up, all of them, right? Go down and boom, hit them hard. And that was when I became a Dallas Cowboy fan. So, thanks very much. I would like to start with the 82nd. Colonel Bell, Trek, Colonel Van Meter, Chief Mosley, thanks very much. Scott, Belanger, right? You guys have been very tremendous in your support to the 80th, and I totally rely on it, right? When I came here, it was kind of hard for me because I wasn't used to that type of wing structure from Germany, to just rely on someone else for support. And don't worry about it, right? Everything you need is going to be in place, and it was. So that was a tremendous help for us in everything we did, and usually, right, everything worked out really smooth and really well, except for that one time when you guys allowed someone to drive on my taxiways, but you took care of him, and I appreciate that, right? And Switch Butman didn't get arrested, so I appreciate that as well. So thanks very much. For the wing leadership, like Colonel Renegard, Janet, Colonel Riggers, Chief, appreciate you big time, because it's not like the wing commander really needs advice. Of course he knows what to do with his wing, right? Those are his boys and girls, and he owns it and he runs it, and he does so well because he listens to me. Okay, he listened to me. He allowed me to give him advice, and he thought about it. And when he thought, yep, that looks okay, then he kind of did what I advised him to do. And if not, then he was kind of quiet for a while, and I'm like, that was not so good. Okay, so I went back into my little chamber and thought about it one more time, and then I came back with a different advice. So that worked really nice for me. Yeah. So for the squadron commanders, thanks very much. My staff meetings were ridiculously long, I agree, right? And I'm sorry for that, guys and girls. It is what it is, right? But sometimes I felt that you needed the discussion and you wanted the discussion, and we talked about stuff that maybe cannot be handled in 5 minutes. And one of the other quotes, right, that was necessary just to relax the atmosphere, because it tends to get heated, right, when everyone has his own side of the cake he's looking at. So So it tends to get really heated, and sometimes it's okay as a commander to just go there, you know, let the heat go off a little while, and then calm everyone down and go, yep, okay, now let's go. So that worked fine. Thanks very much. M1, guys, I've worked with a lot of maintenance groups, obviously, right, in the past. They've all been military. Over here, it's the first time I worked with a civilian company, but it really is not, right? You guys recruit, and you are all from military background, so you know what it takes, and you really did turn the ship around. And to be honest, I gave you a really, really hard task, because when you took over in your contract, right, I was running the aircraft down to the ground. Because I needed it because of the student numbers that we had to train, right? And I was fully aware that, okay, I'm going to run those aircraft into the ground, running the student numbers that I needed to produce. And you guys didn't only get there, right, look at what you found, and then rolled up your sleeves and started turning that ship around, and that was really, I've seen it a couple times, tried in Germany, and it usually ended with, you know, one wing commander basically not flying at all. So you guys turned that around at full swing, and kudos. And that also goes for Chief Wagner, who is representing the Corps here. Where is he? Show of hands. There we go. Right? And his wife Beatrix, who is not only our friends, close and personal friends, right? They speak Hungarian, she does at least, right? And my wife does, and I don't. So it works perfect, right? I can just go into low idle and have that train drone on and smile every now and then, and it works. Beatrix is the key spouse for the wing, and she's also agreed to take the ops group under her belt and take care of us as well. And thanks very much. SNRs. Sorry, just got mixed up on my sheets here. SNRs, okay, the group of SNRs, I appreciate working with you guys big time, okay? Czar, His Excellency, okay, big time. You're the only, you know, His Excellency, the US SNR, is, he's the only oddball in the group of people, right? Mostly Europeans, if we count that odd Canadian, and so it's you know, it's a similar background. So for me, it was really easy to connect to those guys because we all have a similar background, right? We come from European Air Forces with our own problems, and they're not easy, right? And we need to manage way smaller Air Forces. But the loss of a student, one of us, is, you know, could equal up to 10% of our annual production. So it has a huge impact if we lose one of our students in the smaller Air Forces, right? So I could connect to you guys really easy, and it was a very close friendship. And with people like Chris Cousins and Corinne, who can't be here, we are really personal friends, right? And we did watch their house while they were on vacation, but it was really only a cheap excuse to use their pool. Thanks very much. The engine country sponsors, Mr. Barham, the SMAC, and the whole organization that supports us here in town, right? I had the privilege to enjoy your dedication, your motivation already as a student, okay? I actually back then didn't know what I was doing again, but I did win on a softball game a trophy, a softball actually, because I did hit the ball once. And that was okay for a German, okay? And I know where to run to, right? So that was even better, so that's why I think I won it. But it shows your dedication over those many, many, many years, right? That you are still dear to the program and you work with us at all times, right? You take us up in your midst, you take us up in your homes, and you make this town a really great place to live. Thanks very much for what you're doing. Admin support. Okay. Now we have US admin support, but me as a German, I have German admin support. And Toby, I see you back there, right? I would like to mention you especially. He's our AFPC guy, right? And let's say my transfer on the way back didn't work so well, and he took care of me And not only in that respect, in many, many other respects, okay, he became a friend with his wife Lisa. Thanks very much for that. And thanks for the support that we always had and enjoyed. Thank you very much. Our newest German command, okay, Colonel Tyson and his troop. I was happy that, you know, I saw that you came here together with a couple of friends I know from this program, right, like Troy. So they all come back, right? This is a place, and if you look at these pictures, right, they show two things clearly. One, we all come back, and two, leadership costs here. Yep, I know. Okay. So all flying leaderships, you know, kind of look like me in the end. And if you look at these pictures when I started, it didn't look like that. Right? So, yep, Mustang, you too. It is what it is, man. So thanks very much. Now looking at the table of secretaries, okay, all those bossy girls and guys back there in the back table, okay. Led by Peggy, who's the most bossy person I know, diehard Alabama fan, and she gives me fire, guys. That is not funny at times. So I suffer when I'm at work. But thanks very much for keeping me on track. Okay, not signing documents when my name is spelled not spelled correctly. I would have anyway, but it is what it is, right? So we need to make this right. Thanks to Latrina, who has the sweetest voice on the phone. There we go. She can melt stones, guys. If she talks to you on the phone, wow, that is something. That is something. So I always like to call Latrina at least once a day. But also thanks to Chekhov, okay? We gave out, and you saw those little bottles, which are alcohol, okay? And they contain an email address where you can reach out to us. Okay, we've done this email address, which has a relation to our family because it's our name, and it's 86 is the year where we got married over here, like you saw in the pictures, right? We married in front of the Wichita Falls County judge back in 86 when I was in pilot training, okay? So we have deep ties to this community. Thanks very much for that. And Chekhov was actually the first guy that actually did email us on that email address. He used it, we replied, it works, okay? So if you want to keep in touch, if you are in Germany, right, you can reach out to us on that email address and we'll get back to you, and we have a home for you. We'll make sure that this is granted. Almost. The org team, and I would like to include the club, right, which, as Colonel Brigger alluded to, right, I didn't want to do this. I wanted to just go Finny and go, right? But when I proposed that in the group of 06s, it was a short moment of deep silence, and they all looked at me and went like, no, you don't want that, you will have a Finny. So I'll add that fair one. So I did it. And thanks for the org team who made that all happen, okay? I was really, really short notice on this one. Recce, Sharon, the O Club team, right? Everybody who helped pitched in, and they all just got together, got this show on the road, and made it happen. Thanks very much for that, and I wouldn't have been able to do that without you. Thanks very much. The weather guys. Where's my weather guys, girls? There we go, Captain DeBlay, okay? Now, I'm from the, well, sir. Wait, wait, okay. I'm from the Eifel, right, where I flew in Büchel, which is notoriously bad weather, okay? 250 out of 365 days, we have really poor weather. So what we, in our wing, used to do, right, our weather guys really suffered for this. We made them suffer for every day we couldn't fly, right? So when I came here, I kind of did the same, right? My initial call was like, you know, my iPhone app can do that better than my weather section. That word kind of spread to the weather section and didn't go so well because actually I own the OSS and the weather guys, right? So they were really kind of shocked that their commander isn't really happy with them, right? So then I changed course and elected a favorite weather guy, right? So the guy that was briefing stand-ups was my favorite weather guy, and that didn't go too well either because now everybody else was jealous. Because now the commander had a favorite weather guy, right? So I was like, okay, that didn't work either, right? So now I make Captain DeBlay my favorite, and senior weather guy, and the only girl that is actually certified to predict the weather in Chamonix. And Cora Publicum, she did extremely well with her section, right? Because they predicted the exact moment the thunderstorm is going to hit, 4 days out, on the minute, right? And we moved the cross-country recovery window, worked perfectly, like a charm. So kudos to the weather section. Excellent. And almost done, almost done. Colonel Taylor. Okay, CJ, I'm the bad commander because I kind of went through 3 deputies while I was here, right? And CJ is the last in line. And it's hard because, I mean, we do those changeovers at full swing, right? CJ came here not really with a handover, right? He kind of said hello to Jux because he knew him from back then on the A10, and he had to run and go through UIP, pick up the pieces. He had a lot of work to do as a G-Series orders holder. Believe me, that was not funny for him. And with him, I connected so well. So CJ, it was seamless. I enjoyed so much working with you that it is getting emotional, but I'll get over it. And that was awesome, right? So thanks very much for that job. Well done. There we go. And the last one, I want to reserve to people like Rob Dooley and his wife. You see him on the pictures, right? He's on there. He's and that is. Let me close with the spirit of Engine, right? We hadn't seen each other for 30, 35 years-ish, right? And when I came here as an OG, right, when he was still in his operational tours when I was here as an IP, right? But when I came back here as an OG, he came back in, right, heard that I'm going to be back here, right, came right up, together with Matt Bird, right, who was flying here anyway at that time, right? And we connected like nothing happened in time, right? So that, and I mean, I'm talking to the converted, I know, right? But if you talk to your students, right, tell them, hey, that is what this is about, right? Whenever you come back to this place, and you will, right, you'll just pick up all the threads, and it'll be like you never left. Thanks very much for that. And that's it. The only thing I have to do left is thank my wife. Yeah, well, and no, I'll do it without the mic, Sharon, okay? Because this is actually only for my wife. You don't need to hear this. Okay? So thanks to my wife. Without her, I told that to everyone yesterday who attended, right? I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be the commander I was. I'm almost done, and no, we'll leave it at that. Thank you.